Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into episode 10 of Mate the series. After Ori encountered Jen again, all her past pain resurfaced. Ori realized she could never forget Jen, even though she had once splashed water on Jen's face. Despite this act, Ori felt 100 times more hurt than Jen. However, Jen held no resentment toward Ori because Ori was the person Jen loved the most. Later, 10 took Ori back to her condo, triggering memories of 3 years earlier when Ori had been deeply heartbroken by Jen's departure. During that time, Ori sought therapy with a psychiatrist and met 10, the psychiatrist's younger brother. 10 developed feelings for Ori, and as they got to know each other, he supported her recovery. His constant care and attention helped Ori improve significantly, allowing her to feel comfortable being physically close to him. Not long after, Ori's mother remarried and wanted Ori to move to Australia to live with her and her new husband. Ori refused, unwilling to live with her stepfather, and her mother didn't force her. Instead, she suggested that Ori marry 10 to ease her worries about Ori's future. Though hesitant, Ori eventually agreed to the marriage, as her mother wished. 10 promised to take the best care of Ori, and both Ori's and 10's mothers were overjoyed. However, Ori seemed less enthusiastic about the marriage, though she did not object. Later, news broke about the death of Wuth, who was shot and killed. He had been an enemy of Jen's father. The story then returned to the present, where Ori was in her condo. While opening her wardrobe, a monkey doll gifted by Jen accidentally fell out, bringing back memories of their past. Feeling overwhelmed, Ori called Dr. Thought to express her frustration about not being informed that the webcomic artist she met earlier was Jen. Dr. Thought admitted that he wasn't sure if Ori had recognized Jen and explained that he wanted her to move on from her past, especially since she was about to get married. However, Ori couldn't forgive Jen for what had happened 3 years ago and asked about the hotel Jen was staying at. Determined, Ori went to see Jen at the hotel. When Jen opened the door, Ori threw the monkey doll at her before storming inside. Surprised but composed, Jen picked up the doll and asked why Ori was there. Furious, Ori demanded to know why Jen had returned after disappearing for 3 years. Jen explained she came back to resolve a copyright issue with Ori and mentioned that Ori might have realized she was the artist behind the comics. Ori denied knowing and accused Jen of using her life story for her art, questioning why Jen was haunting her. Jen reminded Ori that it was Ori who had first filed a lawsuit against her, and her return was solely to resolve the issue. She also mentioned the time Ori had splashed water on her face, but assured her that she held no grudges. Ori angrily compared the pain Jen had caused her 3 years ago, asking if Jen had ever cared about her well-being during her absence. Jen, hiding her sadness, replied that she had left to ensure Ori would have a better life with her family. Ori accused Jen of being selfish and insensitive to others' feelings, while Jen silently endured the hurt, knowing her actions were out of love for Ori. She wanted to ensure Ori's happiness, even at the cost of her own suffering. Jen revealed her intention to attend Ori's wedding and wished her happiness with 10, believing 10 was a good person who could give Ori the life she deserved. Ori, enraged, questioned how Jen could assume she would be happy. Jen tried to hold back her pain but realized Ori could not let go of the hurt from their past. Ori vowed to make Jen suffer 100 times more than she had and stormed out. Left behind, Jen felt a deep, unbearable pain, knowing she only ever wanted Ori to be happy. Ori, despite her anger, felt as though countless knives pierced her heart. Both of them were haunted by memories of their joyful past together, which neither could forget, no matter how much time had passed. However, Ori remained determined to hold on to her pain, unable to forgive Jen for breaking her promise and abandoning her to face her anguish alone. The next day, 10 visited Jen at her hotel to apologize for Ori's behavior the previous day. He explained that he was there because Ori had been missing since the night before. Despite his efforts to contact and locate her, he had no success. Through Dr. Thought, 10 learned that Ori had asked for Jen's address the day before, so he wanted to know if Ori had come to see Jen. Jen admitted that Ori had indeed visited her but left shortly after. She assured 10 that she hadn't seen Ori since and offered to help find her. Jen searched all the places Ori frequented and even asked Dr. Thought for clues, but her efforts were fruitless. Then, she remembered a specific location where she had once found Ori before. When Jen arrived, she found Ori sitting alone on a bench, looking distraught. Jen approached cautiously and urged Ori to return with her. However, Ori refused, insisting that Jen not concern herself with her problems. Ori questioned how Jen had known to find her there, and Jen replied that Ori always ran to this place, just as she had in the past. Jen explained that she wasn't there to meddle in Ori's life, but came only because Ten had pleaded with her to help. She expressed concern that Ori's actions were worrying others, but Ori brushed it off, saying Jen shouldn't care about her now when she had chosen to leave Ori to walk her own path years ago. "Our story is over," Ori said, her voice trembling. "We were just childhood friends who grew apart." Jen insisted that regardless of their past, Ori had to return with her. But Ori refused and abruptly collapsed from exhaustion. She hadn't eaten or slept in over a day. Alarmed, Jen carried Ori to her car and drove her back to her condo. Although Jen initially wanted to take Ori to the hospital, Ori refused. Once at the condo, Jen noticed Ori struggling to stand and tried to help her, but Ori pushed her hand away, attempting to walk on her own. Weakened, Ori collapsed again in front of Jen, who carried her inside to rest. Ori tried to dismiss Jen, urging her to leave, but Jen stayed, tending to her, wiping her face, offering her medicine, and trying to get her to take. Ori, however, resisted. Frustrated, Jen told her she could choose whether to take the medicine or not. When Ori still refused, Jen suddenly placed one of the pills in her mouth, leaned close to Ori, and transferred it to her lips. Shocked, Ori instinctively swallowed the pill. Jen explained she only wanted Ori to take care of herself and reminded her of how worried Ten was about her. Ori, still reeling from the moment, remarked sarcastically, "Now you care about others." She then told Jen to leave and focus on her own life, but Jen refused to go until Ori had fallen asleep. To get Jen to leave, Ori reluctantly agreed to rest. Once Ori was asleep, Jen sat by her side, watching her breathing steady. The sight of Ori so vulnerable stirred something deep in her, a longing to protect her, to make sure she never felt alone again. Only when she was certain Ori was truly resting did Jen leave, the weight of worry still heavy in her chest. The next day, Dr. Thought met with Jen and invited her to join a team trip to the province with Ori's publishing group. Jen frowned and asked, "Why should I go?" Dr. Thought explained that Jen was a shareholder in Ori's publishing team. The revelation stunned Jen. Dr. Thought elaborated, reminding her that years ago, Jen had left money for Ori before parting ways. That money had been used to establish the publishing company, which had now grown into a successful business with a roster of talented authors. Despite this, Jen declined to join and firmly asked Dr. Thought not to tell Ori about her involvement. But Dr. Thought pressed on, saying, "Ori is getting married soon. Wouldn't it be nice to spend time with her one last time?" Hearing this, Jen's heart sank, her emotions swirling. After a long pause, she reluctantly agreed. On the day of the trip, Ori was at the hotel, feeling unsettled. She took a bottle of medication and swallowed a pill. Ten noticed and approached her, concerned. "Why are you still taking those? I thought your treatment was over." Ori's gaze drifted into the distance as memories of her painful recovery resurfaced. She replied quietly, "It's not as simple as you think. Some things don't just go away." Later that evening, during a party with Ori's team, Jen and Dr. Thought arrived. Dr. Thought took the opportunity to announce to everyone that Jen was a partner in their publishing group. Ori froze in shock, her expression a mix of confusion and disbelief. She immediately pulled Jen aside and demanded, "Why didn't I know about this?" Dr. Thought stepped in and revealed the truth. Years ago, Jen had provided the financial support that enabled Ori to publish her first novel series. Jen's voice was steady, though her eyes betrayed her emotions. "Does it bother you that my money helped you succeed?" Ori's reaction was swift and resolute. "I can't work with you, Jen," she said, her voice breaking. "I'm leaving the team." Without waiting for a response, she stormed out. Later that night, Jen stepped outside for fresh air, her thoughts heavy. By chance, she ran into Dr. Min and Doc Phi, who were visiting the area. Their reunion was joyful at first, but both quickly noticed Jen's strained demeanor. Concerned, Dr. Min asked what was troubling her. Jen hesitated but eventually confided everything between her and Ori, her unresolved guilt, and her yearning to make things right. Should I tell Ori the truth? Jen asked, her voice trembling. I miss her so much, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I want to apologize, hold her, and explain everything. Dokvi offered a gentle smile. You're truly remarkable for enduring all of this. But love that causes pain, it's something to reflect on carefully. Dr. Min added, are you doing this because you feel you owe her something? If so, then it's time to let go. Forgive yourself, Jen, let the past be the past and focus on living happily in the present. Their words struck a chord with Jen, and a sense of clarity began to emerge. She nodded slowly, a small smile returning to her face. If I get the chance, I'll visit Coffee Gemini, she said, referring to their cafe. During the evening party, everyone danced and enjoyed themselves, but Jen sat alone, distant from the crowd. Dr. Thought approached her, asking why she wasn't participating. Jen explained that she didn't feel close to the others and preferred to stay out of the party. As they spoke, Jen's eyes landed on Ten and Ori, walking together, their closeness painfully apparent. Ten soon approached her, offering a heartfelt apology on Ori's behalf for the events of the past. But Ori, seemingly oblivious, leaned into Ten, her gestures dripping with intent to provoke. Watching the scene, Jen's chest tightened with emotions she couldn't name. Observing this, Dr. Thought decided to lead Jen away back to the party. Despite leaving, Ori continued her attempts to stir emotions in Jen. Shortly after, Dr. Thought informed Jen that someone was looking for her. It was John. Delighted, Jen greeted him warmly, and they shared a heartfelt reunion. Seeing this from afar, Ori grew visibly upset. Ten, noticing her expression, asked Dr. Thought about John. Dr. Thought calmly explained that John was Jen's boyfriend. Hearing this, Ori stormed off, fuming with anger. Later, in the restroom, Ori ran into a writer from her team who was also a fan of her novels. The writer asked if the characters in Ori's stories were based on real life. Ori replied, they only exist in the novels. It's just my imagination, a wish for something that could have been real. At the gathering, Dr. Thought introduced John to the group. Ori, unbothered on the surface, sat and drank several glasses of wine. Meanwhile, John told Jen he had something important to discuss and asked to speak privately. Ori discreetly watched them from a distance, her gaze fixed on Jen and John. In their private conversation, John revealed that his family would soon move to Canada, meaning he could no longer stay in Macau. Overcome with emotion, he got down on one knee and proposed to Jen. From a distance, Ori's jealousy boiled over as she drank more wine. Ten tried to intervene, urging her to stop, but Ori left the scene, heading back to her room. Jen, however, did not immediately respond to John's proposal. She gently declined, explaining that she couldn't accept. John was visibly heartbroken, but Jen reassured him, saying, keep the ring for someone who truly loves you. I'm not worthy of someone as wonderful as you. She asked if they could remain friends, and John agreed, albeit reluctantly. Elsewhere, as Ten escorted Ori to her room, he received a call from someone waiting for him. He left to meet the caller, while Ori, instead of retreating to her room, she wandered to the bar, where she drowned her sorrows in glass after glass. John, by chance, saw her and approached, his own pain mirrored in her eyes. Jen doesn't feel the same way about me, he confessed quietly. I'm just a friend to her. Ori's emotions bubbled over. She left the bar in a haze and went straight to Jen's room, her steps unsteady but determined. Jen opened the door, startled to see her. Ori, you're drunk. You should leave. But Ori refused. Her voice cracked as she asked, why did you come back if you didn't mean to stay? Why are you here if you don't care? Jen's words faltered. You're about to get married, Ori. This isn't right. Right? Ori's voice rose. What's right, Jen? Was it right for you to leave me? Was it right for me to marry someone else? Was it right for you to come back and ruin me all over again? Her tears fell freely as she stepped closer. Tell me you feel nothing. Look me in the eye and tell me you don't care. Jen said nothing, the silence between them deafening. Ori leaned in, her lips trembling as she tried to kiss Jen, but Jen turned away, her voice firm yet broken. This is wrong, Ori. Wrong? Ori laughed bitterly. It's been wrong from the start. Loving you was wrong. Letting you go was wrong. Everything about us was a mistake. Jen's resolve wavered. The raw pain in Ori's words struck her deeply, dredging up guilt and love she had tried so hard to bury. When Ori finally broke down, confessing, "I just wanted you to love me. I wanted you to hurt the way I've been hurting. I wanted you to regret leaving me," Jen couldn't hold back anymore. She kissed Ori, their emotions exploding after years of restraint. For that one night, they surrendered to the love they had fought so hard to deny. The next morning, Ori woke up alone. The bed was cold, and the room was empty. Panic set in as she searched for Jen, but there was no trace of her, or her staff. The realization hit her like a tidal wave: Jen had left, again. Ori's heart broke all over, her tears soaking the emptiness Jen had left behind. What will happen next? Stay tuned for the next episode. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and share to show your support for the channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.